Hello, hello. What's up, Quid? I'm going to go ahead and share this, and we'll get started. And add events and event details. Oh, there we go. Share, copy link. Sorry, I'm slow. And I'm going to share it on Dream Cafe too and maybe get banned from there. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to get banned. I'm not trying to take stuff away from Dream Cafe. Just share stuff with them. Go live on my YouTube channel here. Learn about some techniques. Paste. Oh. I actually did that wrong. I need to delete that. Delete message. Yes. Oh, man. All right. This is going to take a little bit. I'm sorry. I am slow at setting things up. So thank you guys for coming. There we go. Delete. All right. Golden hour. Yeah. I wish I had a little bit like more light coming through, but if I open those curtains, it gets crazy nuts real fast. Oh, there we go. Thank you, waifu. Alrighty. So, welcome everybody to the stream. I figured I would just start with some introduction real fast because I'm going to be posting this on my YouTube channel. How does it look for everybody? Is it jumpy or is it working well? No, Panzer, I don't want to get banned like you did. I like to have good relations with everybody. It's good. Quality is peak. Oh, beautiful. All right. So, yeah. So I've been lucid dreaming for about 9.5 years. Started June 12th, 2012. So, yeah. So I started out and I learned a bunch from YouTube, and a lot of it was just crap. And back then, crap was like Giz Edwards and stuff like that. I learned a few things, but it took me about 45 days to get a good lucid dream. I got it from the book, Exploring the World Lucid Dreams. As soon as I got that book, I read the whole thing in one night or one day. And then I had a lucid dream that night. And it was great. And then I had a DEILD right after. So I was very excited. And it was pretty happy. And after that, I was going about 1 a week. And after a few months, 2 a week, after a few months, 3 a week, until after about 7 or 8 months, it was going about every night on average. So, hey.
I'm going to get my Pikachu.
Okay.
Let me see that.
Yeah, I don't know where your Pikachu is at.
It's in my room.
I'm going to have to find a Pikachu real fast.
What? I need my Pikachu.
Yeah, sorry. I pronounce it dialed. That's how I've always done it. Bye, Ryo. Yeah, that's how I pronounce dialed, but it should be dield for it to be dialed, but you know. Okay, so sorry about the interruptions. I am a stay-at-home dad. My wife was supposed to be home before, but she actually just got home right as that kid started. But just things happened. Anyways, so the technique that basically I did to get there, and I'm going to be talking a bit about that. So we're going to go to the book Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming by Stephen LaBerge, and I swear I have this extreme what do you call that? The not Mandelbrot effect, the effect where things seem like they changed. I have always called it Explore the World of Lucid Dreams. I've called it that for 9 years, and I was reading through it the other day and saw that it was Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming. Online source had the best info with me when I was first learning. Probably Rhys Jones or the Lucidology. I can't remember the guy's name. The guy that had the Mandela effect. That's the one. Yeah, the guy that had the what book did I get? Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming. So I'm going to be pulling up. Basically, we're going to review the original. I don't have things set up so that I can show it on here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share in chat the book online, Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming. And we're going to go through one of the techniques together and look at it and read it. And you guys can ask questions about that. I think Nick Porter, he was the one that had the TED Talk, right? Yeah, I think Nick Porter. I checked out a lot of his stuff. I watched all the YouTube videos from him and Rhys Jones, Giz Edwards, and there were a few others at that time. All right, I'm sharing this here. Should work for everybody. Nick Porter had a ton of misinfo. See, I don't remember because as soon as I got Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming, right after that, Giz Edwards released a video talking about how he'd accidentally been sharing misinformation, and he linked to Dreamviews. And then I got to Dreamviews, and from there, I pretty much stayed on forums after that, and I would read books. After that was basically books and forums and stayed off of YouTube. So I wouldn't have remembered much of his misinformation. All right, so we're looking at chapter 3, the good chapter in here. Is it chapter 3? Double checking. Yeah. Waking up in the dream world. And let's see. I'm trying to figure out the exact page. I had it earlier, and then my other computer died. So I am using a Chromebook, so I am very, whatever you want to call it. I have no technology in my house. Like, I have a smartphone, and that's about it. Okay, so it's after the intention technique. There it is. So we're starting with mild prerequisites, and we're going to talk about what he says, and then we're going to talk about what I think about that since we're here. And that is page 39. Is everybody there? Does the YouTube channel Explore Lucid Dreaming share any misinformation? I have said that in the past. Yes, I don't agree with a lot of the things that he says. It's not my favorite YouTube channel. Right now, my favorite YouTube channel for lucid dreaming is Skyfall. So you guys got to keep him in mind and keep checking out his videos. All right, so let's check this out. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. All right, so it says mild prerequisites. Now, mild is mnemonic induction of lucid dreams. I guess it's starting on page 37, technically. basically he says that he wanted to develop an effective method of induction while investigating the feasibility of learning to have lucid dreams at will for his PhD dissertation. So the goal of this one was to have them at will. So back to page 39, mild prerequisites. To successfully induce lucid dreams with mild, you need to have certain capacities. First of all, if you can't reliably remember to carry out future intentions while awake, there is a little chance you'll remember to do anything while asleep. So this is where I get the idea between the prospective memory training, but I don't like doing it for things that involve lucid dreaming because I don't think they're very effective. I think it would be better if we did prospective memory training and just looked at the things that we already use it for, because we use it all the time with video games. We use it all the time. Anytime we really do choose to do anything, we set up an intention and we go do it. When I get home, I'm going to read that book. I get home, and as soon as I get home, like, oh yeah, I'll read that book. Remembering to do tasks until it's too late. Right. So I think it would be better if we looked at prospective memory training and actually how to train it for our waking life and just looked at how it worked. And I think instead of having to learn how to do reality checks at the right times during the day, I think it's better to actually just look and see how it works in your life and get it to work better. I have trouble remembering tasks to do until it's too late. So I also that happens to me a lot too. But I also have I have a lot of tasks and I always keep upping the amount. So I'll forget some tasks, but I'll get more and more done over time. But that also might just be because I'm a stay-at-home dad. So I have 3 children distracting me at all times. So continuing on the there's a little chance. Okay, so before attempting mild, you need to prove to yourself that you can indeed remember to do things while awake. And if you are like most people, you are usually relying on external reminders and therefore need practice in remembering intentions using only your own mental power. The following is an exercise to help you acquire the necessary skill to perform the mild technique. So he goes through prospective memory training. It's good to learn, and I would say it might be something to do for a little while. It might be like a good starter idea so you can understand how prospective memory works. Oh, thank you, Archangel. Dishes when I get home, I don't do them. It's prospective memory issue. Yes. Or you're just being stubborn. A lot of times people will, they'll try to forget things because they don't want to do them. So what I do is I'd say something like prospective memory training. It might be a good idea for you to kickstart it. So it might be something that you start at the beginning, kind of like reality checks throughout the day. I think reality checks are a good thing to do. Check, count how many fingers you have. Think about the last 15 minutes. Actually ground yourself, center yourself in the world. These kind of things, I think they get you a great idea of how it's going to work inside of a dream a little bit. Things that you might struggle with. And you can see the subconscious ties a little bit more that you need to mess with. But I don't know anybody that's doing prospective memory training that is like a year or 2 years into lucid dreaming. How often should reality checks be done? So at the beginning, I would say do them as often as you can. I added mine onto whenever I go through doorways. So when I go through a doorway, my mind says wallet, keys, phone, reality check. And so that's prospective memory right there. And so that is that's what I saw it as, was trying to add it onto those little things. But then after a while, reality checks and prospective memory failed over time. They didn't seem to help anything anymore. So what did seem to help more and more, though, was the more I did mild. So instead of doing reality checks throughout the day, I would do mild throughout the day. And that seemed to up my chances. Now, it would be more important to do it during the night, and it'd be more important to do it especially a long time before bed. How do you become lucid? What usually triggers my awareness? Usually I just become lucid as soon as the dream forms, but it didn't used to be that way. It used to be more I would get more and more aware as the dream got on. So the dream would stay the same. I would be doing this thing. I would go from point A to point B, but somewhere along the line of point A to point B, my awareness seemed to rise and rise and rise. And then I would get lucid at some point. And that's why I generally say that you're more likely at the beginning to become lucid at near the end of dreams, because that awareness or your presence, you're making decisions, all of that seems to rise as the dream gets higher and higher. And so the things that didn't seem weird now. All right, continuing on. So we're going past prospective memory because I think it's a good idea to try, but I don't need to read through the Friday, Saturday thing. So let's read the mild technique. Now, this I think might be, is that just because mild or natural? Natural thing. I don't know what that means. So I think this is actually where I got the idea for micro-wake back to beds. So if you read this, first thing to do on mild is set up dream recall. Before going to bed, resolve to wake up and recall dreams during each dream period throughout the night, or the first dream period after dawn or after 6 a.m., or whenever you find convenient. So basically, try to remember as many dreams as possible and try to wake up at the end of every dream, right? So with my idea of dreams being every time that we fall asleep, basically, we have a dream. We have how many dreams per night? How many wakings per night? Or is mild, or is a thing? Hold on. Like, is it same for everyone, or mild is thing that is raising awareness? I'm sorry, man, that did not clear it up. I think that as you get closer and closer to a certain time of night, your awareness seems to go up and then it goes back down. That is usually around the time that he's actually talking about here, is around 6 a.m. is what he calls it, but it depends on when you're sleeping. I think his idea is you're sleeping around 11 to 7 or midnight to 8. So around 5 to 7 hours is usually considered the peak time for your brain acting a lot more like your waking brain. So then you recall your dream. So wake up naturally after your waking. Now, a lot of people tell me I'm crazy for waking 6 times a night. And then I talk to other omnis, I talk to other people that lucid dream a lot, and then I look up Google, and Google says the average person wakes up 6 times a night. So yeah, I don't think it's rising because of mild. So I think that the waking 6 times a night is just because I'm actually there. I am aware of these things. It's not that I'm causing these wakings. It's that I'm actually aware of them and I'm able to do things during them. So the first thing I do when I wake up, I always tell people this. First thing you do, recall your dream. No matter what, try to recall as many details as possible from your dream. If you find yourself so drowsy that you're drifting back to sleep, do something to arouse yourself. So this is exactly what I say. I say, if you feel like you're falling asleep, then sit up or go to the bathroom or do a burpee, whatever you can so that you don't go back to sleep immediately. If you just wake up and go back to sleep, that's what you did anyways. That's not a lucid dreaming technique. And this is not wake back to bed. So he does not call this wake back to bed. I've always called this a micro wake back to bed. And I generally say to write down your dreams at this point. And it may be hard for some people to get back to sleep after writing down your dreams, but for me, I find just writing down like 100 words, just do real fast on my phone or on a piece of paper. I used to do piece of paper only, but then I switched to phone because it was just too convenient. So wake up, recall your dreams. Wake up after every dream, recall your dreams. Focus your intent. Number 3. So while returning to sleep, concentrate single-mindedly on your intention to remember, to recognize that you're dreaming. That is a lot of words in a row. That is weird. Okay, concentrate single-mindedly on your intention to remember, to recognize that you're dreaming. You guys got all that? Basically, focus on the fact that your plan for the night was to realize you're dreaming, right? This was my plan. All I was planning to do tonight was realize I'm dreaming. And this is something I always tell people. So I'm like, as soon as I go to bed, I'm like, oh yeah, like it's time to lucid dream. Like it's time, like it's on. It's time for lucid dreaming. I get to lucid dream now. And so I think a lot of people miss that, is they're like, oh, well, I'll think about a dream for a little bit. And then maybe sometime during the night, I'll realize I'm dreaming. And I'm like, oh, no. This is the time. This is it. I get to lucid dream now. And this can keep you up at night. If I focus too much on this at the beginning of the night, I can't fall asleep. So that's why I always do mild, like less intensely, the closer to sleep. And except for during wake back to beds, because I can always get back to sleep. So that's going to depend on the person, how well you can get back to sleep. Any questions? You are crazy. Everybody wakes up 6 times a night. You wake up 100. You have whatchamacallit, sleep apnea though, right? that's a whole nother story. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Yeah, it is sensei. I don't know what to do about sleep apnea. That is not something I've had to deal with, but it sounds like some medical problems that need fixed. Alrighty. Really try to feel that you mean it, right? Tell yourself, next time I'm dreaming, I want to remember I'm dreaming. And he says earlier on to not use the word lucid because your mind doesn't really understand lucid. So what happens is you say, I will become lucid. And in the dream, you're like, I became lucid. But you don't know what it means. And so you start running around, kissing the wall or something like that, eating dirt. Though, of course, I tell people, try to eat dirt. It tastes delicious. It's a great idea. So really try to feel that you mean it, because you know the idea of dream. You know what a dream is, but you might not have it like deeply embedded what lucid is, especially at the very beginning. Narrow your thoughts to this idea alone. If you find yourself thinking about anything else, just let go of these thoughts and bring your mind back to intention to remember, to your intention to remember. Now, a lot of people say that, like, what is meditation? Is prospective memory just intention setting and it works well with mild? Yeah, prospective memory is intention. So you intend to do something, and then you remember to do it later. That is prospective memory all over. And it works well with mild. Mild is mnemonic. It's mnemonic induction of lucid dreams. So it is a memory as well. They're both memory. They're like you're trying to remember to do something in the future. They're both the same thing. They're different, but the same. They're two different techniques, basically. But if I say prospective memory and prospective memory exercises, then these are things that help memory overall. But if I say intention technique, there is another technique in the book that is the intention technique. Should you focus on dream recall and not trying to lucid dream when starting? I would say no. Does dirt taste good IRL? No, it does not. I have eaten the dirt too many times when playing games and falling with my mouth open. I play outside too much with kids and stuff like that. So number 4. Now this is where people really start to miss. So they skip number 3 and they go to number 4, I think. At the same time, imagine that you are back in the dream from which you have just awakened, but this time you recognize that it's a dream. So when people ask about mild, he doesn't say imagine any scene. That's actually from Naya's mild. He says to imagine the dream that you just came from. Dream control. We'll talk a little bit more later about some dream control and stuff like that. But how do you get more motivated? We can talk about those things after. We're going to talk about this technique right now. So yeah, so with this is not imagining any dream scene. That is it's a type of memory. So it could fall under mild, but Stephen LaBerge's mild is to use the dream that you just woke up from. Use the dreams, like use prior dreams and imagine that you're lucid in them. And I think that this is very important because your problem is, for most people, is that they don't know what their dreams are like. So if they're trying to just imagine becoming lucid, their mind is going to be like, oh, well, this is just a fleeting fancy, or this is a book he's reading, this is a movie he's watching, this is just a thought that he's having. But if you use your actual dreams and use a mnemonic device is to help connect two things together, right? It's to keep this idea and this idea together, right? We want these numbers to mean something. We want these letters to mean something. You use this in like kindergarten. They try to make songs and stuff like that as mnemonic devices. So what we're using is visualization as a mnemonic device. And so the things we're trying to connect is the idea of your dreams and your actual dreams. So when you do that, you're going to, did I say idea of your dreams and your dreams? No, the idea of dreams as a whole. Like this is what dreams look like. So that whenever you see what dreams look like, when you see dreams, you'll know, oh, hey, this is a dream because I just had something like this and it was a dream. Or I had a million of these written in my dream journal. This is what dreams look like. So he says, this time you recognize this dream. Find a dream sign in the experience. When you see it, say to yourself, I'm dreaming, and continue your fantasy. For example, you might decide that when you are lucid, you want to fly. In that case, imagine yourself taking off and flying as soon as you come to the point in your fantasy that you realize you are dreaming. So that's a very small part of it, right? That's one small step is seeing yourself become lucid. So it's not visualization. It's not repeating one thing to yourself. It is literally just lucid dreams over 345 days and still got 323. 23 is not bad. Okay, so it's not that. It is simply connecting the idea of what your dreams are and the idea of dreams so that when you see your dreams, your mind says, oh yeah, my dreams. That's what my dreams are. 23 lucids were short. That's common. That's, I mean, it's not good that it's common, but I might ask some questions about that later, because there's a general trend for people that have shorter lucid dreams. There's a general trend for people that try for a year and don't have many lucids. So then repeat steps 3 and 4 until your intention is set. Then let yourself fall asleep. So everybody keeps saying like you're supposed to do mild until you fall asleep, but it says right here, repeat steps 3 and 4 until your intention is set, then let yourself fall asleep. And it says, if while falling asleep you find yourself thinking of anything else, repeat the procedure. So the last thing in your mind before falling asleep is your intention to remember to recognize the next time you are dreaming. Now, I don't like that idea. Like, that is not what I recommend people to do. But it may be better, but I can't fall asleep while doing that. So I just do it and then I stop. You need to go to your mom, okay?
Downstairs.
That's okay. Can you give her this?
No, that's why.
That's yours? Okay. You're going to have to go to your mom. I will be right back. Laura? Where's your mom?
Downstairs.
Okay.
On the couch.
On the couch? Okay. Can you go talk to her?
No.
Yes.
No.
Right now?
No.
Uriah? Be right back. Sorry about this, you guys. Hey. Go to your mom, okay?
What's on mine?
What?
Not on mine, not on my ear.
Yeah, it looks good. Can you show your mom?
No.
Yes. I'm closing this.
Let's sit down on the couch.
Laura! She may have actually fallen asleep. There we go. Sorry about that. All right. Been too long. I've been trying for 345 days, almost a year. Okay. So, yeah. So this guide has everything that I do in it for the most part. But except for one thing, I did change that. I don't do it until I fall asleep. I just do it a few times and then I go to sleep, because it's more important for me to fall asleep with a little less intention than for me to not fall asleep. I do still need techniques. Okay. So getting close to 6 months. Okay. So let's ask that. Everybody's got a few questions here. So let's just looking at this technique, which is the prime technique I would tell people to do. The first thing it says to do is basically work on like some perspective memory, so you understand what your prospective memory is like. That's not a bad idea, but I say you can do that right at the beginning. And should you focus on dream recall and not trying to lucid dream when starting out? I would say no. I think you should learn all about lucid dreaming. You should do things like prospective memory and RCs at the very, very beginning while you're building up your recall and trying mild. Now, that might be a lot of things for someone to start out with, so you should do as much as you feel comfortable doing. Now, if it's too much to do, you need to be like honest with yourself and say, actually, oh, hey, this is too much. This is a lot of work for me. I can't do all this at once. So then you need to break it down and do what's most important, which is mild is most important, and dream recall. Dream recall, most important, mild. If you just do dream recall, I doubt you're going to get many lucid dreams, but if you do dream recall and mild, lucid dreams will flow. I'll talk about dream control maybe a little bit later. How do you get more motivated to lucid dream? Like with being able to make bedtime the time to lucid dream, as you said, how to garner that feeling. I guess I think of it like a game. So like, how do you get motivated to play? Like I played Dark Souls 2 yesterday, like how did I get motivated to get up and go play Dark Souls 2? I actually had to like stay up later, and like my wife went to bed, and I actually did have to say, oh, I really want to play video games, so I'm going to get up and I'm going to get out of bed after talking with my wife for a bit, and then go downstairs, play video games. And it actually did take focus and intent, because I wasn't just sitting there at the TV already. So, I mean, it's what I want to do at nighttime. So I just do it. So trying for 345 days and still got 23 lucids. So the first things to look at, if you're not having very many dreams, is that or if you're not having many lucid dreams and you're like getting demotivated, is I would say like, what is the game that you're playing? Like, what game are you excited? Remember I said I'm going to play Dark Souls, right? Now in Dark Souls, you generally you try not to die. You try to move forward in the game. There's a lot of different goals that you can have. You try to level your weapons up. But the game is Dark Souls. So the way that I think most people see it incorrectly is they see the game as lucid dreaming. And so since the game is lucid dreaming and they say, hey, I'm going to try to lucid dream tonight, and then whenever they're trying to lucid dream, they fail to lucid dream, they don't even feel like they're playing the game. So they have to build up this intent to do it, and then nothing happens because they're trying to play the wrong game. So the game is lucid dreaming, or the game is dreaming. Scoring, or the goal that you're trying to go for, is lucid dreaming. I'm on week 6 or week 2 and have been able to remember 6 dreams so far. Like, congrats on starting out, man. It can be a long road, especially like working on recall and everything like that. I highly recommend getting as much recall as you can. I'd say if I want to lucid dream, if I want to have more lucid dreams, 95% of my work should be on recall. It might be generous, but I think recall is probably where all of the effort and energy goes to. And people that put in that much energy and effort into recall will see that their techniques are easier and they don't struggle with motivation as much because they have the recall. They are playing the game every single night. Okay, now I'm a little behind. Let's see, getting close to 6 months. You think astral projection? Yeah, astral projection, I don't need to talk about that now. What about imagining becoming, okay, so this is actually about mild. What about the imagining becoming lucid part? Usually when doing mild, I only visualize the instant of becoming lucid, not anything after that. Should that be something worth doing? I generally don't care much about the visualization after becoming lucid. I like the idea of visualizing the dream and then getting to that point where you become lucid, and then I reset the whole thing and go from the beginning and then do it again. And I like replay that moment. I don't like to do dreams in visualization or do dream goals in visualization because my visualization is pretty strong. And if I do it too many times in visualization, I won't feel like doing it in a dream as much. Okay, I'm behind. Do you think you can improve anything about my lucid dreaming? Yes, there's a lot I can improve. All right, what is the coolest power? MZZ, or Mizik, I always forget exactly how to say that. Mizik said, basically figure out what you're comfortable doing and then do a bit less than that. Now that is 100%. That comes from like knowing yourself. Like I know that I can only do so much per day. And when I started lucid dreaming, I could do a lot more, even though I had work and school full time on both of those. I didn't have any kids. So I was able to just unleash and go like mad. But then about a year later, actually like a year and 2 days after I started, I had to cut back on everything. And you can see it in my dream count at first, is that like I started losing all sorts of lucidity. So I had to focus on the techniques that worked most and stop trying so many experimental techniques, like 3 of them every day. So yeah, it's hard whenever you actually have like a lot of things going on in life. You really need to schedule, I need to do this and need to do this and need to do this. And if you don't have a lot of things going on in your life, you might think, oh, I can practice lucid dreaming 24 hours a day, but you honestly just don't have that willpower. You don't have that intense intent. You don't have that kind of thing. So you need to also be able to set up how much you can do. I had school and work, which held me back, made it to where I couldn't focus on lucid dreaming 24/7. So it made it to where I didn't get burnt out super, super quickly. Okay. What is the coolest power that I've used in lucid dream? I'm very interested in powers. Cool is, for me, that's hard. I really, really like not using powers, which sounds weird, but I go and I like to grab items, and the item will have a power and I will utilize the item. Or I'll have like 7 items and I'll use those powers. That's what I generally find is super helpful. Do we have any questions about mild? Any more questions about mild? Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm messing with things on accident. Okay. No questions about mild. Okay. Nobody. Yes. How easy was it for me? It took me 45 days to get a lucid dream. And I had at that time, I had about 30 dreams per week, like the previous week. So I had raised my recall above the amount that I tell people, which is about 4 instances of dream type things every. Do I recommend mild? I actually do recommend mild over every other technique. It works really well. It's super helpful for most people. Don't fully understand the game metaphor. Okay, so the way I see it is that getting lucid is like scoring a basket. I say this all the time to people. It's like scoring a basket in basketball, right? So if I want to score a basket in basketball, what's the number one thing I need to do? Is I need to go play basketball. I need to score more shots. And basketball is the game that I'm playing, but scoring shots is the goal. Now, the game is dreaming. It's not lucid dreaming, it is actually dreaming. If you talk to any of the people that are Omni and you ask them about their dream specifically, you're going to hear differing stories. They're going to tell you this thing that doesn't sound like a normal, like, it doesn't sound like a generic dream. It sounds like their dream specifically. And so, because they know their dreams, they are heavily invested in their dreams, they understand them. And so, yeah, then shooting and like trying to get a shot in, that would be doing a technique to lucid dream. A lot of people, they get these techniques, they'll get the shot in, but they're just like passing by. They're not even in the dream very much, so they don't remember it very well because their recall isn't very good. Does that clear up the basketball metaphor? Other things obviously will really help. Man, it is getting dark outside so fast. Other things will obviously, oof, that's way worse. Will obviously help with lucid dreaming. Like if you look at the guide for mild, it specifically says here, if other thoughts come in, to just like let those go, narrow your thoughts and ideas to this one. And so when people ask me like, what does meditation do for lucid dreaming? I would say it helps you to understand how to move your thoughts around, how to gather a thought and let all the other ones go. And that's where things like meditation can really help. It's like exercising outside of playing basketball. It's like hitting the gym. It's like, getting bulky and getting like, not bulky, but like getting more athletic, getting more muscles and faster. I know I need to get myself a ring light. Well, I actually thought that the sun was going to stay up for longer. I forgot that it's going down so early right now. I need your light. Oh, play basketball till you lucid dream. Yeah, I mean, that's what I did. I stopped playing basketball right about the time I started lucid dreaming. So it was perfect. Actually, that's another thing is I didn't have very much time when I started lucid dreaming. So I stopped playing video games. I stopped playing basketball. I stopped playing card games. I just focused on lucid dreaming for about 3 years. So it was very intense time. Where getting lucid isn't that much of a problem. It's remembering that lucid. Yeah, that's obviously a recall problem. Like you need recall. The game is dreaming. You've got to get that game down. Yeah, I was listening to Mizik talk the other day. It's Mizik, right? I feel like that's the way to say it. Anyways, I was listening to Mizik talk the other day. Someone was asking her what she does for recall, and for that level, it's so much like it's different, but it's so similar. So like when you wake up, you focus on recall. Is pretty much the idea. It's like when you wake up, you think about your dreams. But for me, it's all about just like having energy. And it's almost like you have like an energy meter. And when you wake up, it's like, oh, okay, you actually have to put that energy into recall. And it's just thinking about your dreams for a minute. It's not even really dream journaling. That is right. Okay, good. So Mizik. Yeah. And so it's almost like just being intentional and doing it for the recall. Because we know how to recall dreams. Because we just generally, most of us will just wake up from a dream. Like I was like last night, I had just transformed this plane into a train and I landed on the ground. It was a soft landing, and then I woke up. And that's how all my dreams end. My dreams don't fade away into something. I wake up at the end of them. So how can I make my lucids at least longer? Because all of my lucids were pretty short. There are a lot of stabilization techniques. The one that I highly recommend, do I know it? Self-depersonalization. Yes, I do. I've never experienced it though, so it's not something I can really just touch on much. So yeah, got the point. Sorry, this is pretty short. So stabilization techniques, they seem to work fine. They are grounding yourself into the environment so that you're not worried about things. A lot of times whenever you first realize you're dreaming, the first thought that comes to your mind is either to do something stupid that you actually wouldn't want to do. A lot of people just go and chase after dream characters, or they start fighting random things. I've seen a lot of people that do that too. It's less common than the chasing after dream characters thing, but it is common. Other people get scared immediately, and they're like, it's a dream, and they'll wake themselves up. And I think what happens is they're so focused on, oh my gosh, this is a dream. I need to do this. I need to do this. And only like one small part of their brain is really working at that time. It's like the core part of your brain. If you guys know, I think it's the 4 Fs. Like, I feel like those are the things that are like most active. So you need to actually, what I recommend doing as soon as you realize it's a dream is just slow down. I like to look at my hands, but I associate self-awareness with my hands. So I focus on my hands. This is self-awareness, self-reflection. I'm thinking about, I'm here right now experiencing this moment. And people worry a lot about the dream ending. I used to just prepare to do a DILD, a dialed. As soon as I realized it was a dream, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to dial back as soon as the dream ends. And eventually they just stopped happening. They just stopped ending early. I can't do DILD anymore because I don't wake up early. When I wake up, it's time to wake up. I wake up and then I go back to sleep. I can chain dreams across dream cycles, but it's different. It's not the same as DILD. Panzer, you get scared in your dreams? Or are you just saying you fight people? DILD. So there's a stupid problem with lucid dreaming techniques is that we have wild, mild, dialed. Filed, all sorts of things. So a DILD is dream initiated lucid dream. It means that inside the dream you realize it's a dream. DILD is a dream exit initiated lucid dream, which means that a dream ends, and then after you wake up, you go back to the sleep. Go back to the same dream or same dream. You can change dream scenes at the time if you like. I hope the DILD tip is helpful. It's what I used. I just basically eventually stopped caring about time in dream because of that. I would say my average dream time is about, it seems like an hour. Like, I go to sleep and I end up in the dream and then I do stuff for about an hour. Day old. I don't think it's day old. That sounds terrible. We'll just call it dream chaining. So what the problem is, I dream chain without DILD. So it's hard to make a great distinction. Can I just use expectation that it won't end early and it will be long? I don't know how to change expectation, especially with something you've already experienced, right? Your expectation usually follows your experience. So it's hard for me to say daily. I don't know. It's hard for me to say just expect something different, because if you're already expecting to wake up and I say just expect something different, it's not going to really help. So I tell people to focus on something else, right? Focus on where you're at. You're like, I'm experiencing this dream. I am here. And if I wake up, I can just come right back because I'm in charge of that. It's also not a bad idea to just try to wake yourself up. Like, just wake yourself up and then DILD back, because then you can, what I would do sometimes is to wake myself up and grab all of my dream goals, like my full waking mind, and go back to sleep. I do it sometimes. I want to do it more, but I forget my dream goals, even that one. How do I do that dream chanting or chaining? That's something I learned when I was a kid. It's basically, I woke up from a nightmare and I was like, I'm scared. Okay, I'll go back to sleep. I went back to sleep with the feeling of that dream still inside me, as I would call it. And I went right back into another nightmare. And I was like, oh, okay, well, if I can chain that idea, if I can connect those just by going to sleep with that same feeling inside me, then all I have to do is keep that feeling inside me and I can continue a previous dream. So I started doing that. through my childhood. Yeah, it's exactly like telling them just to believe in something. I agree, Mr. Bombastic. That is what a lot of people say all the time, is they're like, just believe. Dream control is all about belief. That's why I say it's about perception, because I can change my perception without changing my belief. And I think, like, I mean, like, look at my hand. My hand is really big, right? Now you guys know the right answer, that it's probably just closer to you. But if it's a dream, then like I could just grab this and it would be like a giant hand thing. You know, like it's all about changing your perception. Perception is not just sight, but it's all of your things. It's perception of how your house is laid out so that you can get out of your house quickly in a dream. A lot of people struggle to get out of their houses in dreams, or used to. I had a nightmare chaining thing too, and I find DILD to be pretty easy. Yeah, DILD, a friend of mine just told me once, because I consider dream chaining and DILD to be a little bit different. A friend told me once, basically, as soon as you wake up, pretend like dead and just go right back to that same dream. So I find it super helpful. Is it fine to take my time in dream? Yeah, actually, I'd say running off, like you have like 30 seconds, like, I gotta go do something, eat something, complete the dream goal. I'd say that causes people to wake up, because not because they're excited, it's because they're worried they're going to wake up. You know, they're thinking, I'm going to wake up, and so their mind's like, you want to wake up? Cool, we got you. So what I generally do is, like, I remember for a while I wanted my dream goal to be, every time I get in a dream, I would lay down and go to sleep. Just basically be like, yeah, screw you, dream. I have all the time in the world. I'm just going to relax and go to sleep. And sometimes I'd be like, oh, I'll lay down and go to sleep. And I'll be like, oh, I'll check the fridge and see what food is in here. Like, I'm never in a hurry in a dream. I don't see any reason why to be in a hurry. But it seems like you should be in a hurry whenever you're trying really hard and you only get, one lucid dream a week, and it's only 2 minutes long, then you feel like you're in a hurry. But then that makes it to where the 2 minutes is now 30 seconds and you're really, really upset at that point. Do I recommend any reality checks? Yeah, I would recommend finding a reality check that you can do consistently inside the dream. Like, my favorite reality check isn't really a reality check. It literally tells me nothing about whether I'm awake or asleep, but it's never failed, which is to just check my hands. I don't count my fingers. I don't think about the previous time. I just look at my hands and I say, I am dreaming. And I get lucid from it. Sometimes they're messed up. Sometimes they're perfect, but I always realize I'm dreaming. And dream control, I found the answer in my most recent lucid dream. I have to say it out loud. Yeah, saying things out loud can really help with dream control. I've seen people say you wake up if you don't do everything in a hurry. I've seen people say you wake up if you do things in a hurry. I mean, I sat down and meditated in dreams. I've, gone as fast as the speed of light in dreams. Yeah, we can do dream control now. So it's not all expectation. It's all perception. Because if I'm doing something, like if I'm running around in circles in a dream, you got to realize that this is all just imagining that I'm running around in circles. If I'm sitting still, it's just me imagining that I'm sitting still. There's no difference. It's literally the same thing. Waifu retracted messages. Oh. How can I wake up from a non-lucid and then de-isled, then go back into a lucid dream? Do I treat it as a very fast wild? That is not a technique that I do. So I'm sorry. It's not my cup of tea. Can you accidentally act out your lucid dreams the same as sleepwalking? I think so, but it's not very likely. So what's going to happen, because the problem with sleepwalking, I think for most people, is a certain part of their brain is shut down, but but the rest of their brain is asleep, like the part of their brain that realizes that they're, moving around. And sleep paralysis isn't in there. Now, you're very unlikely to get lucid, especially at the beginning, in a non-REM dream. My guess is most of your lucid dreams are going to be in REM, which means you're going to have REMatonia, which will stop you from acting out your dream. My lucid dreams last about an hour. And so I don't generally worry about it. Now, if you have a problem with sleepwalking, it could be a problem. But in that case, I would just use imagination movement, which is, instead of moving your arm around, just look at your arm and imagine it moving. Now, if I look at my arm and I say, move, like I think, move from here to here, it's not going to do anything. But if I can actually just use the muscles. Now, if I'm in a dream and I think, walk over here, my body will start walking over there. It's a dream control to use my body instead of actually using my body. Or you can just transform, and like your body's not going to match up to your dream body, and so then you don't have to worry about it. I think the same thing happens with like peeing in dreams, because people say don't pee in dreams. Now I pee in dreams. If I have to pee, I just go pee so that I don't have to feel that pain anymore. And I have yet to pee in bed, and I think it's because I don't pee in dreams like I do in waking life. I'm not going to get super into details, but it's a whole different thing. It was like hypnagogia, where it was random changing around. How do you stop that? I mean, so this is like, I mean, it's obviously just going to be dream control. But the idea is like, so what did it just start? Like, was it a wild or was it a DILD? Echo. He's gone. I'm not sure if this just takes a while for an answer to come off. Dialed. Okay, so if it's a dialed, then I guess my thought process is like, it's just random and changing around. And I'm guessing you woke up, like it started changing around all the time, and you're like, oh no, the dream's falling apart, and then you woke up. There's a pretty long delay. Yeah, I kind of forgot about the delay. That's my bad. So if there's things, if there's a bunch of things going around in a dream and they're bouncing around like crazy, and you're like, oh my gosh, I just need to like calm down, and I just want to like get to my dream goals. Those things don't need to affect you. Like, they're literally part of a dream. They're all just in your head, right? So you can just sit down. I like to do that in dreams, where some things are going crazy and people are like, we got 12 seconds before the reactor melts down. I'm just like, let me sit down. I'm going to eat this donut, and I'm going to think about my dream goals for a second. So I don't really, it was long, and it was just bouncing around like crazy. So that, again, it could just be a matter of perspective. You don't need to be in a hurry because the dream is in a hurry. You don't need to be running around because the dream's running around. Yeah, things happen without you allowing it. Right. You're not like, I mean, unless there's only specific dream controls that make it to where you're in allowing everything. I mean, think about your non-lucid dreams. Realizing you're in a dream isn't this magical thing that all of a sudden everything must now go past you in order to exist or happen. So I would say just don't worry about the things that you can't control in a dream. If they're happening, let them happen, and focus on your dream goal. Now, if things are bouncing around like crazy, you might have to go to a different dream goal. The neighbor girl just rings the doorbell like 20 times until somebody wakes it. You're in a non-lucid dream right now, and you fall asleep in that dream and go in another lucid dream and wake up from that lucid dream back to a non-lucid dream and not realize that this is a dream. Yes, I do. I've done that before. I mean, it includes a false awakening, but yeah, there's so basically it's weird because it's one of those things where it's like, I knew I was dreaming and I had full control and I was doing everything I could, like it was a dream. That was actually my first lucid dream. You thought it was something at your door. No. But then the false awakening made me lose lucidity. I've also had it happen before where I will fall asleep in the dream, and then I'll realize in the dream that even the thing before that was a dream. But I would say I don't like to complicate things. If I know inside a dream that it's a dream, I consider it a lucid dream. Even if I don't know that something that happened 10 minutes ago was a dream. So hallway, then I was watching Markiplier play a game, and his character was there, and I was sitting in my room. Yeah, things can bounce around fast in a dream. I like to just sit down. Like, sit down, and if the dream changes around me, it changes around me. It's a lot like, this is one of the things, again, where meditation is going to help, is you're going to get a better control of your mind so that the things that are happening out here don't affect what happens right here. Didn't lose lucidity. That's good. Yeah, the first thing with the false awakenings, I was answering Labak. This is like VC, but I can't talk, so you have avoid me. Yeah, I actually would have not scheduled this at this time if I knew Echo was going to be here. Is it difficult to control my dream? If so, do I have any tips? I mean, it is every dream control is difficult and every dream control is easy. It just depends on your personal experience with each. Oh, I said Lebach. I don't know how it's pronounced. It just depends on your personal. It depends on your personal connection to that dream control. Depending on how you look at things, walking around in a dream is dream control. Like if I couldn't walk and I started walking around in a dream, that's dream control. If looking around, that's dream control. Like moving things around in the dream and changing how the dream is at that time is dream control. So all these dream control we do, we just take for granted all the time. So it's Lebas. Lebas. Oh, my bad. I got to change that in my head. Any tips for dream control? I generally say it's easier to change my perception than it is my expectation, or my belief, because I can change my perception about something without having to change how I believe the world works at its core. I think belief is a lot different. Say it. Libas? I don't know. So if you guys can hear a child in the back, sorry about that. Yeah, so tips for dream control. I mean, the biggest thing I would say is the first thing you want to do as soon as you're trying a dream control is just try it. Grab, say, oh, I want to shoot fire out your hands. Okay, when you get in a dream, just see what happens. Shoot fire out your hands. If it doesn't work, then try to find a reason for it to work or a reason for that it didn't work before and change that. But more a bit different. I'll told you how in VC. I'm fine with Lebach. Okay, sounds good. Yeah. So, is it different to lucid dream for kids? I'm still a child, basically. Was just born. Well, as far as I know, kids don't even know what dreams are until they're 2 or 3, so it's a little different for that age. After that, it's the same thing. It's going to depend on how well you recall your dreams. It might have some barriers that you don't have to break through, and kids do have more vivid dreams more often. They have more REM than adults do. So what's going to change a lot is whenever I say dream, I have this cultural idea of what a dream is. Whenever I say dream to a kid, they've got a lot less baggage on that idea. And so they just think of the dreams that you've told them or that they've heard on TV or their own dreams. And they've seen a lot less than I have as far as dreams are. So the idea of dreams, do I think animals can do no, I don't think animals lucid dreams. Or I think animals are different than humans. I'm not the best to ask about that. So I think for kids, like my kids, like my son just got a dream journal. My daughter is wanting one. All they're going to do right now is work on recall, basically. And if they ask about techniques later, then they will. But right now they just want to remember dreams. So I'm just helping them with that. Yeah. As far as animals, I guess I don't think of animals as self-aware for the most part in the same ways that we are. So I don't know if they can separate dreams from reality in the first place, even after waking up. So I would be surprised if they could be lucid in a dream, or if they were, then I would imagine it would be an instinctual thing that animal would always know. And so then most animals from that species would probably be like that for some reason. I'm a great father. I know. You guys haven't seen me except for telling my kid to go away. That's what great fathers do. Let's see. I think I have time for a couple more questions. I think it's just like Yoltz and Lebach left. And Echo, of course. Is it fair to say you recall 4 dreams, even though they might just be single fragments? So actually, this is something I probably should have touched on before. Now, this is the way that I've always seen it. Okay, for me, how I count dreams is very specific to me because it's the way that 1 is smaller than 2 and 3 is bigger than 2 and 4 is bigger than 3 and so on and so on. So that if I say I had 4 dreams that night, it means that I had 4, and any night that I said 3, 4 was bigger. So if I recall 4 fragments and I recall this giant long dream, and that giant long dream is bigger than all 4 of those fragments, then I look at my dream count and I say, man, I only had 1 dream last night. And I start looking at all these things, then I'm going to have a problem, because now it looks like it's dipping down. I guess this way. It looks like it's dipping down, but when it's actually going up. So I try to count dreams in a personal way that makes sense to you, and in a way that 2 is always bigger than 1. So if I say I had 2 dreams last night, it's more than 1 any night that I said 1. So I don't know if that makes sense, but to me, it makes perfect sense. Basically, try to count it in a way that it makes sense, that better is better and worse is worse. Is there anything you can share about lucid dreaming that you wish you knew when I started? It doesn't make sense. I'm sorry, Lubak. Wish I knew when I started. I'd say it's hard because, again, like other than the 45 days that I started with without exploring the world of lucid dreaming, that would be the first thing, is I would immediately read that book. I would just read it on the first day. After that, I'd say I really would want to try to bring in incubation more earlier. It was about like year 4 when I started to think that the things that I did when I was a kid with incubation might be able to work in with it as well. I saw them as like opposite things. And then I started actually thinking about adding them in together. But at the time, there wasn't that much. People didn't talk about incubation very much. Like we talk about it like every day on Dream Cafe and Lucid. All right, I think I'm going to head out. What is incubation? Incubation is choosing what you're going to dream about. Anchor, and how long did it take? Whew, that is a long question. I'll answer incubation. I'll talk about wild at a different time. We might have to do a full stream about wild maybe next week. Just do a full wild stream, ask questions about that. Incubation is just choosing what you dream about. So I count anything that you do during the day that affects dreams, anything that you do during the day purposefully to affect dreams as incubation. So, or even not just during the day, while you're awake. So if I wake up and I have a dream and I say, I'm going to go back to that dream, and then I go back to that dream, that's incubation. If I play too much Tetris and I start seeing it on my eyes and I'm like, yes, I'm going to dream about Tetris tonight, that's incubation. If I, before I go to bed, say, oh, I'm going to realize inside my dream that it's a dream, that in my mind is incubation as well. So for me, yeah, most everything that we do is a form of incubation. It's the giant term that we use for it. When I was a kid, I practiced it by looking around my room all the time and saying, oh, I can use the force. And I thought if I did that enough, it would enter into my dreams. And then eventually I was able to use telekinesis in dreams. Then I added in fire, and then I added in Melshi's door. Yep. All right, you guys. I think that's going to be the stream for now. Thanks you guys for coming. Sorry that the lighting got like way worse halfway through, even though it wasn't great to start with. I'll try and use that tonight. Good luck. And yeah, if you guys are wanting a lot of information over the next week, read Exploring the World of Lucid Dreaming. It's online. Just check it out, or get it from Audible. You probably have a free Audible thing. Like, you probably haven't used that yet. Go and use it and get it. All right. Bye, guys.